Hi, I'm the plant propagator and welcome to my channel. Today we are at the Redlands International Orchid Festival and I snuck in a little bit early. I had to do some talking to get in. It's 9 o'clock, the festival opens at 10. And so mostly it's just the vendors here getting set up. So I promised that I would just come in and shoot some video and not bother the vendors too much, but I already made an appointment with a couple of vendors, so we'll see what happens. What I want to do is I just took a quick look around. Again, most of the vendors are just still setting up right now, but there's just a ton here. I mean, it is just amazing. I'm scheduled actually to head back to RF Orchids a little later on today, actually early afternoon, to try to sell some more flasks. But I think everyone is here, and this place is just amazing. I wanted to shoot some video, but if I shoot video of all of the vendors here, I would just guess from looking around there are probably 75 vendors here. There's a lot, and each vendor, you could spend an hour in each one of the tents. So the vendors are all displayed outside. They have these tents that look like they're about 20 by 20. Many of the tents are split in half, so you've got two vendors in a tent, and each tent is just loaded with all kinds of plants. There are seedlings, there are, I don't know if there's Vandas behind me, there's oncidiums there's cattleyas, there's big ones, there's small ones. It's just amazing. And I just walking through to get to this point, I was completely overwhelmed by what I saw. So what I'm going to try to do is shoot some video as I talk to a few people. And just so you know, the video is going to be a little bit noisy. I've got a boom microphone that I hook up to my camera, and it's very sensitive, so it'll pick up, I'm sure that it'll pick up other people's conversations as they're negotiating pricing or asking what type of orchids the different vendors have for sale. Right now, like I said, there's no one here. It's quiet. You can hear some generators running in the background because we're out in the middle of a field and there's no power here either. So it's really interesting for me, and it's my first time here, so I'm pretty excited about what's here. So what I'm going to do is get behind the camera, put a different microphone on, and take a look at some things. I'm here a little early, so I'm imposing. So I don't really want to record anything at any of the vendor booths before the opening time, which is an hour from now, unless I ask the vendor and I have permission. So I'm just going to do things properly so that I don't wear out my invitation, and we'll go from there. Okay, so that's all I have. Again, more of the vendors are starting to show up and load the things. I heard that it was just crazy yesterday that there were so many people here. So again, that's why I think we're going to have, when I try to record, we're going to have background noises, and even just the vendors showing up. Oh, I haven't seen you in a while, and they exchange niceties and things like that. So anyway, we're going to take a look around. We'll take a look at a few vendors once they give me permission to record some of the things that they brought here. All right, so let me get behind the camera and see what we can find. And we're back. So I've been meeting some great people at the festival, and this is one of the guys that I met, and it turns out we're related.
Yes.
Academically. So this is Norman Fong.
Hello.
With Norman's Orchids, and this is a famous guy here, and I talked with him, and it's really funny and interesting, our background. So you worked.
I worked with Dr. Mishiki.
Toshio
Mishiki at UC Riverside back in the 80s.
Okay, all right.
I was using his lab and was his TA for his summer course for 3 years.
Okay, all right.
And your mentor was.
And so I am a grand student of Toshio Murashige.
That's right.
And so my advisor, Roberta Smith, Bobby Smith,
Right.
and when I was in graduate school at Texas A&M University, she was my advisor. So it's really exciting.
This is what the orchid world or orchid show is. Just a small world, right?
Right.
You never know what you run into.
Yeah, and so I'm really excited to be here and to meet Norman and to meet such a close relative, and it's pretty exciting.
You don't see many people with your same background. We were doing plant tissue culture, right?
Right.
And in orchid, they always say merochrome. It's actually not a good terminology. It should be called tissue culture.
Right.
Because a lot of what they do right now in our orchid, they don't use meristem. They use different parts.
Right. So the interesting thing about this is my advisor in Murashige's lab did actual meristem cloning, and she worked on coleus.
Yeah,
because the meristems are so huge that she was able to see them, and these guys are smaller meristems.
Even back in the 80s, I actually even did the true apical meristem.
Of what plant?
Cattleya.
Of what?
Cattleya.
Cattleya?
Yeah.
Those are it's got to be tiny.
It's half of the centimeter, so it's about 0.5 millimeter.
Okay.
And that region is really the true apical meristem, and we can actually take a virus plant and take that portion and make a clean culture.
Okay.
That's been done in the 80s already. But most of the lab, they don't do it.
But you're not doing it. You're not doing it now.
We still, but
are you doing? You're doing it.
We have other laboratories. We do it on Phalaenopsis. So when they're actually in stage 2, stage 2, before we multiply, we do the ELISA system. So once they are cleaned up or whatever TMV, CMV, or adenocarcinoma ring spot virus, then we multiply. So we can guarantee the plant that we have in stage 2.
Right.
In multiplication stage are 3 of those 3 before we multiply.
Right.
But once they get out of laboratory, it's hard to control.
And I do want to ask you, because we talked about this earlier, I want to ask you.
Your audience is all about tissue culture people?
No. So we do everything. It's mostly focusing on orchids, but it's propagation in general. But I do want to ask you, because we have this in common, is about the media that are used in Murashige's lab, and I make my own media formulations with different stock solutions.
Right.
And most of the laboratories use the packaged stuff. So, and you were telling me about, and I was wondering if you could tell the audience about how Murashige made you make
everybody
in the lab.
Well,
everybody
in the lab, every ingredient that from ammonium nitrate, we had to use. They always had because the basic research, you always use the reagent grade. Every information. So we have every student, graduate student, have their own stock solution. So there's no seriously. So there's no cross contamination. So I have my own stock. At that time, they might have 10 students, graduate students. So they all have their own section. So we would like cooking. That's why I think all the laboratory out of Murashige's lab will be a good cook, because they're very measuring and that. But this is why a good laboratory, a good tissue culture laboratory is very essential for orchid business, because not every lab is the same with the same quality. That's why in the 80s, when I graduated from college in the 86, I formulated my own fertilizer.
Right.
And I bought every and the formulation. It was tested in vitro.
Oh yeah.
And so I was in those 3 years. I was in Riverside. I would formulate my own fertilizer, because in those days, in the 80s, is what we call UCLA mix. Remember the red and blue, the 30-10-10, and then you use 3 times, and the 4th time you use 6-30-30. It really bothers you. It's a fertilizer company want to make money. They want to make you buy 2 fertilizers.
Right.
So I just make 1 formulation for 5 major genus.
Okay.
It's easy, and it's just use 1 year round.
Yeah.
And so I was able to buy. So we started using the purest grade we can buy. Not a reagent grade, so expensive, but the purest grade we can use for agriculture.
Yeah. Okay.
And that, because in California, in where I am, In summertime, the water quality is not good. The EC is 0.8 already.
Okay. Yeah.
So the fertilizer got to be very as refined as possible.
All right. Anyway, it was just I wanted you guys to meet Norman of Norman Orchids, and because we have I spent, I don't know, about an hour talking with you this morning. It was just great, and I wanted to share.
It's almost like I found my lost brother. And you can, if you like orchid, okay, if you like, and we very particular quality. I have over 20 greenhouses in Southern California, and you can visit us online at orchids.com right here.
Right there. All right.
We're the first one to the orchid.com. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot.
Okay, bye-bye.
Appreciate the time. And I'm back, and I'm sorry I lied. This place is a little crazy. Get the idea of the number of people here, and it's just I can't use a boom mic anymore. It's just crazy. I can't ask the vendors permission because they are just swamped. There's way too much going on here. So what I'm going to do is kind of periodically show you some of the flowers. This is called, I think this is called just blooming orchids, and they have just a boatload of blooming orchids here. The cattleyas are just amazing, and they're at the other side, and I can't even get to them. There's so many. I can show you the back of some of the vandas right here, and this is just one of the vendors here, and they're all over the place. What I wanted to share with you is I did come to a conclusion. Look at these phals back here, and you can't even get to them. I'm not even sure what. I guess those are backups for the phals in the front. But you can get an idea from the number of people here. There's just a lot. You can hear a lot of conversations in the background, and there's just a lot going on. It's really loud and crowded. But what I have done is come to the realization that it's just there's just so many orchids blooming, and they come from all over the world. So a lot of these people are importers of orchids when they're blooming, and there is a need for flasking of orchids. So I think there is a need for that. So I've got my niche here. But, you know, blooming orchid seedlings, there are just so many of them here, such diversity, and they're so inexpensive that it's just kind of remarkable. So what I'm going to do is periodically turn off and on. I just can't even maneuver in this place. I guess not too many people like Den, so there aren't a whole lot of people here. But I'll try to get some pictures, close-up pictures of some of the cats, because some of them are just spectacular. So there's going to be a lot of splicing in this video, and let's go take a look at some more orchids at some of the other vendors. Okay, and so I slipped in, same place, but look at some of these. Look at some of these cats. They're just amazing. I think that's Ports of Paradise right there. But some of these are just really spectacular. Look at this. Look at this. Oop, zoom in. Sorry. Oh, I got a little break. I can look at some more. All right. When I say break, that means an opening. But sometimes they disappear. Okay. Again, these cats are just spectacular. They're just incredible. Oh, all right. I got to slow down. Here we go. And I do want to look at some of the vendors that have cats, but these are pretty special. And we've already seen that, but look at that guy. That's huge. Okay, it's going to get crowded here soon, so I'm going to move and try to find one other vendor that I saw that had some really incredible large cats that are fragrant. All right, so let's try someplace else.
Back.
Okay, and I'm back. We're at Carl Smith now, and these guys are just busy. Beautiful, big cattleyas. And I've been trying to sneak in here all morning, and it's tough. They are selling like crazy here. Doing just really well. You can hear the activity around me. But but look at these. This is the place that it's just the cats that are here are really just incredible. So what I'm going to do is try to get around and take a look at the other cats. But this is shoulder to shoulder. People, here we go. Okay, made it. Shoo! All right, so here are some more of these cats, and like I said, these guys are they're working hard. It's funny. It's funny to see people working hard when you're just sitting out here enjoying yourself and looking at these amazing plants. I'm probably going too fast through the cats here, but these are just the cats. These are amazing. And here's some of the smaller ones. But these guys are talking, they're selling it up pretty good. And just lots of activity going on. I'm going to slip around the corner here. It's a pretty cool looking one here. And again, this is Carl Smith. This is just one of the vendors, and there are so many vendors here. It's really overwhelming. But if you like these guys, oh my gosh. And I'm finding that the prices are pretty reasonable from what I've seen. I thought there might be some higher prices, but they're just not. Okay, moving on. I'm sorry, I'm moving away from the cats a little bit. There's just a lot of stuff everywhere in here. A lot of stuff going on. Okay, time to move on. I'll see if I can find another vendor that's worthwhile stopping at. I mean, they all are. They're really pretty spectacular. Okay, it's time to move on though. Okay, I am back, and I'm back with my favorite two vendors. So I'm with Jim with Suncoast Valley Orchids. I got to figure it out. Okay, and so he's got just, and I like coming here because he does his own breeding, his own crosses. And some of the plants are, they're small, but the flowers are small, which means they can bloom quickly. But I actually picked something up here from his orchids. He told me I said, I want the most fragrant one, and he just pointed me in the direction of this one right here. So he said, get this. And this is Dick Pipper Lemon Yum Yum, and he said this is yum yum because the fragrance is so good. So I picked this guy up. So this is, again, I got to focus in on this for you. So this is where I am, one of my favorite guys. Oh, I didn't see this. Oh, come on. All right, but I wanted to finish up with here. Look, he's even got a marked fragrance, so you don't even have to bend over there and smell it. All right, one more vendor, and then I'm out of here. All right, here we are, final vendor, and then I'm out of here. And I'm pretty beat. There's a lot of orchids to look at, but this is Rob. Here, this is Rob with Odom's Orchids, and what I want to show you, if I can get over there again. There's people everywhere here, and they have cats that are nice, and I'm going to show you some of them because I actually have one of the plants here, one of the siblings of that I use in my breeding efforts. And so, all right, I'm going to go around the other way again. Sorry about the noise and the people. Okay, and we're back here. And I'm showing you this because I have a sibling of this plant. This is Odom's Grandolite. It's a great plant, fragrant. For me, it blooms twice a year, incredibly fragrant. And it's just a nice plant. I've been using it in my crosses, and it just is wonderful. And I had to talk to these guys today about it. But you could see a number of different really nice, big, beautiful cattleyas here, which is, I guess, what one of the things that he does is. I want to show you this white one right here. Anyway, just lots of them here. I wanted to end up again with Rob at Odom's Orchids and end up with Odom's Grandolite. So that's all I have for today. I'll put this together and get it out to you. And if you enjoyed this video and you want to see more, it would help me out if you could click on like, share, and subscribe to my channel. And with all the masses of orchids here, happy propagating.